The hybrid E-Ray is simple on paper. Engine in the back, electric motor up front, battery in the middle. It feels that simple to drive. Put your foot down and it pulls from both ends. There's no reason to worry about your battery charge, all-wheel drive status, or any other complication of having two different drivetrains in one high-performance car. The E-Ray works and works very well. A few things could use a little more polish. This is still technically a Chevy after all. But unlike other hybrid cars, this isn't a Rube Goldberg device. It pulls like an EV, sounds like a Corvette, and effortlessly puts a smile on your face, no matter the weather. The way this car is packaged, it couldn't have been done any other way. Held up beside a regular Corvette, the fact that the E-Ray is carrying a whole other drivetrain on board isn't perceptible by sitting in it, looking at it, or opening the two trunks. The magnesium-cased front drive unit sits behind the front, and the capacitor-like 1.9 kilowatt-hours battery is nestled inside the car's spacious center tunnel. The result is all of the Corvette you paid for, along with about 260 pounds more weight over a comparable Z06, with the coupe tipping the scales at 3,774 pounds dry. Standard carbon ceramic brakes and a lightweight lithium 12-volt battery were thrown in to bring this figure down, but if that's still too much, option the carbon fiber wheels. They'll save you another 40 pounds for an extra $13,995. This added weight isn't perceptible when driving the E-Ray, though mostly because of the extra 160 horsepower and instant torque of the front electric motor. A launch to 60 miles per hour takes 2.5 seconds and happens with all of the drama of internal combustion, but none of the wheel spin. As a result, it feels more violent and exciting than any high-performance EV I have ever driven. Sure, electric motors can provide all of their torque instantly, but they can't provide all of their power that soon. Thanks to its 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, the E-Ray 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 can provide all 495 of its heft soon after the lights turn green, and the electric motor fills in all of the gaps with a pleasant hum. Yes, the car's electric drive noise is synthesized through the speakers, but it plays a pleasant harmony to the real V8 rumble. Likewise, hearing it meant I knew I was putting down electric power. A useful fake noise for once. It's also a joy to drive, irrespective of straight-line performance. There may be more technology going on here than anyone could reasonably perceive, but all the basics are handled. The steering is tight and feels great. Despite the AWD, it's well-weighted, springy, and communicative. The ride is also excellent thanks to GM's latest magnetic ride control, which can make even the very tightly sprung Z06 more than acceptable on rough roads. The noise, vibrations, and sensation of having a big V8 under your foot also make this car more fun and involved than any EV. All of this becomes most clear on a racetrack, which is a shame in a way. The bottom line is that this thing has almost as much power as a Z06, and as a result, there aren't many safe places on public roads where I could stretch its legs. Once off public streets, it was obvious just how carefully tuned the entire package was. I just couldn't catch this car doing something funny or having a moment of confusion in sticky situations. The hybrid power was always applied how I wanted it to, and the region was frankly barely noticeable even in Charge Plus mode, where the E-Ray is trying very hard to recuperate electric power wherever it can. The two silent settings are selected by turning the car on without the engine and then selecting the desired electric drive mode. Here's the downside. Neither of these modes can be accessed after the car's engine starts without cycling the ignition. In other words, you can't go back into electric mode after driving outside of it. Engineers told me this was because doing so would mean a loss of creature comforts like air conditioning, although they are considering adding the ability to bump down to stealth while driving in the future if customers ask for it. That being said, don't expect a /C if that feature arrives. That's the most obvious fault of the car. But there are some other small things. For $100,000, you get a lot of road noise on the highway. There is no extra sound deadening in the E-Ray versus a regular Stingray. A layer of Dynamat would have been nice for the money. Some of the hybrid controls and displays can take a little getting used to as well. By far, my biggest gripe is a little more personal. I understand that the people who will buy these cars just want them to work. Listen, they do that. This car's hybrid system can't be caught doing anything strange, at least as far as I could tell. But we have two separate drivetrains here. Instead of menus to try and stare at while the car puts down ice and electric power, I would have liked more in the way of the driver being involved in how electric power and regenerative braking are applied. These things can be adjusted on the fly, and if I want my E-Ray to be on maximum regen attack all the time, I should be able to do that. If I want to try and save electric power and set a limit to how much I'm putting on the wheels, that should be my choice. The fact that you can't take this thing back into EV mode because it might get a little hot in the interior kind of encapsulates that. We get an entirely separate drivetrain and all of the cool factors associated with that. Let me play around with it a little bit more. I want that control.